My dad's father died when my dad was only 11 years old. So I think that was hard on the family, and he grew up quick and took no shit. My dad loved friends, and they meant everything to him. He had a story for everyone he met. He met my mom in Dayton, Ohio, as she was attending University of Dayton. My dad was sitting on the porch with his good friend, Conrad Estevez, when a real cute girl walked by the house. My dad said, "Who is that?" And Conrad said, "You should meet her. She's my sister's friend, Judy." My parents were married for 58 years, and it meant, my parents were married for 58 years, and it was always so nice to see them together. My dad worked hard. He got out at high school, and he had to go into the army, so he went to Germany. He had a couple different picks. Someone told him to put Germany as his third pick, so that's where he went first. He worked hard his whole life. He got a night job at Dayton Rubber and Tire so he could finish his schooling in the day. If that wasn't enough, he could always carry some golf bags for someone. He loved golf too as a game. My dad was hired by Xerox in the early 70s and quickly became one of their best salesmen. My dad was a big believer of God, and he always said that God could do everything for us and others. My dad was always saying thanks too, and he appreciated all the little things in life. My dad loved AA so much. He loved all of you guys too that are in AA. Thank you. What made him happy was AA. That saved his life, and it saved our family. My dad had 36 years of sobriety and a lifetime of friends. I was blessed to have my dad for 57 years of my life. I became even closer the last few years of my dad's life, and it was extra special for me. He had a great story about everybody. So let's just think of the great stories, and God bless you, and thanks for coming today.
Yay!
There's a lot of things that I could say about my dad and my mom, because I'm already crying, because they were never apart. They are the definition of soulmates, and they taught us a lot in our lives. So there's a lot that I could say, but I want to focus on two things that really were major in their lives, and especially my dad. One of them being travel. If you knew my parents, you knew how much they loved to travel, especially to Europe, but they were fortunate enough to see a lot of places over the decades of their lives. And in particular, like, for instance, this picture here, while it's not the best picture, the best photo, I wanted to bring it because it signifies a view that we have seen on many, many trips. That is my parents walking down the street in one of their favorite towns in all the world, Antibes, in the south of France, where they were lucky enough to live. And my mom actually was perusing Airbnb one day, looking for a place to stay in Antibes a few years back. And she saw this picture on somebody's post and said, "Hey, that looks like me and your dad." And we all started looking at it and we agreed, that is you. So we blew it up for them. So even though it's not the best photo in the world, this is my parents. They traveled together since their 20s. And this is a view that we saw all the time of them arm in arm and holding each other up. And our last trip that we all got to take about 4 years ago to Antibes, we were lucky enough to have a family and friend reunion and Thanksgiving where all the grandkids, we were all there, and we were seeing the same view, only we could tell it was my mom who was really holding my dad up by that time. But she never stopped right to the end. She was always right there for him. And for us, Judy, Judy, Judy.
Yeah, they were a lot ahead of us, though.
Exactly, they were still always ahead of us.
Yeah.
Around like this.
Well, take a day to get
Hey, smile.
One day. Are you the baby? Yeah.
Here's the babies.
Here's the baby. Here's the baby. Yeah.
The baby too? Okay.
I'll join it. I'm not a baby. And they pay dearly.
Hello.